morning. Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about books I've shelved. By shelved, I mean picked up, started reading, and then put down and have not finished. I actually have a Goodreads shelf of books like this that I'll link in the description if you're curious about the other ones, but I've just picked a handful to talk about today. The first is Working Stiff by Judy Melinek. This is about her first year in the coroner's office in New York, and it was really interesting. Until the last hour, I listened to an audiobook, when she talked about her time as a coroner during 9/11, and I had to put it down because I cried a lot. If you don't know, I was a kid in Brooklyn during 9/11, and it was a very traumatic experience for me and pretty much everyone I knew. So that was just a little bit too much for me. So I put it back down, and I may pick it up again later and skip that chapter, but I'm not too sure. If I do, I'll let you know in a video similar to this, but about books I've picked back up. The next is Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. I read the Italy section, the India section, and about half of the Indonesia section in 2014, summer of 2014, most of it on an airplane to and from DC. I liked the Italy section. The India section was interesting too, but about halfway through the Indonesia section I started to feel a little bit and I never finished it. I own this book, but I cannot for the life of me find my copy. If I find it before I put up this video, I'll put a picture of it, because I have a lot of page flags in the early sections, because I really liked those sections, but I never finished it, because the last section lost my interest. If I find it, I might finish it, but I'm not sure yet. I enjoyed the movie version with Julia Roberts, and I enjoyed Elizabeth Gilbert's book Big Magic, but I actually also shelved Committed, one of her other books, because marriage is just not something I can relate to. I did pick up this book, Eat, Pray, Love Made Me Do It, last year at a library book sale. This is a book of essays about or related to Eat, Pray, Love, about how the book impacted other people's lives. I think this will be pretty interesting, and it's something I may pick up and read bits of during the summer. None of the essays are that long, so we'll see. Maybe we'll talk about it in a book of essays video later. Next is Electoral Dysfunction by Victoria Bassetti. This book is about the ways in which people are disenfranchised from their voting rights and the ways that in the future we could make that better. It's a companion piece to a PBS documentary, and as such it is very dense. It's also very long for an audiobook. I actually had to renew and recheck this out from Overdrive several times to try to get through it, but I got about 70%, maybe 75% of the way through before I just stopped renewing it because it was extremely dense and it made me sad. I know, political responsibility is more important than not being sad, but oh my god, it made me so sad. I'll get to it, I'll finish it, I promise. Next is Dark Signal by Shannon Baker. This is the second Kate Fox novel, and in this one Kate Fox is newly elected sheriff of her county in Nebraska. I read maybe 25% of it before I just put it down to read something else and returned it to the library after another week because I hadn't picked it back up. I do actually really want to finish this book because I enjoyed the first Kate Fox novel. I think I gave it 4 stars, and I bought a Kate Fox novella on Kindle as well that I want to read. She's an interesting character, but Shannon Baker's books, at least this series, can be a little bit slow to get through in the beginning. I do really hope to read it this year. And lastly, I Feel Bad About My Neck by Nora Ephron. I recently listened to I Regret Nothing, one of her other books, in the car, and I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I Feel Bad About My Neck just didn't sit well with me. Part of that is that I'm not the intended audience. I'm 25, and I think the intended audience for this is over 45, but part of it was that this one passage really didn't sit well with me. It's in the section where she's talking about maintenance, things like hair and makeup and nails and all these things that we have to do to maintain our images as women, and she talks about seeing a homeless woman in New York, and rather than the sympathy for this woman, she says something akin to, "I'm 8 hours of maintenance a week away from looking like that," and that seems so distasteful to me that I stopped listening to it, and I returned it and sent it back to its home library. I am almost certainly not going to finish this one because that was in such poor taste. Alright, that's all I've got about these books. I do have a bunch of other books I've shelved and not finished, so if that's something that's interesting, maybe I'll make another video about it, but I probably won't. I feel a little bit shameful making this video, actually. Yeah. In the comments, let's talk about our experiences shelving and not picking back up again other books. Thanks for watching. I hope you're well. Bye.